Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game.
Jonathan Kuminga's next team feels painfully obvious after surprise three-team trade. And it just might be a conference rival. The Golden State Warriors may soon have to face a tough reality. Jonathan Kuminga could be headed to the Utah Jazz, a move that now seems far more likely after a surprising three-team trade involving John Collins. The deal opened up valuable cap flexibility for Utah, and with Kuminga arguably the most intriguing young talent still floating in restricted free agency, the Jazz are well positioned to make a move. Yes, the Warriors technically hold the right to match any offer for Kuminga, but should they? Golden State had previously set a steep asking price for the 6 feet 8 inches forward in trade talks. They clearly don't want to lose him for nothing. But if we're being honest, Kuminga's role in the team has been uncertain for some time. Before Steph Curry's injury late last season, Kuminga wasn't even part of the regular playoff rotation. And as exciting as his athleticism is, the fit just hasn't been right. And the Warriors, already dealing with a tight salary situation, can't afford to overpay for a player who still feels like a question mark. Utah presents a golden opportunity for Kuminga. At 22, Kuminga has shown flashes of Real scoring upside, averaging 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and nearly a steal per game in limited minutes last season. But his development has been slowed by a crowded depth chart and inconsistent usage in Golden State. What he needs now is playing time. A chance to grow. A team that will actually let him fail, learn, and evolve. Utah might be that team. The Jazz just cleared out major pieces. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and John Collins are all gone. Suddenly, there's a need for offensive firepower and wing depth. Kuminga, alongside rookie Ace Bailey, could form one of the most exciting young forward duos in the league. The Jazz are rebuilding, and Kuminga would fit right into a team looking to the future rather than clinging to its past. A sign-and-trade could be the cleanest path forward. Utah has a $26.6 million trade exception and doesn't seem afraid to use it. They've been searching for a young star to add to their core, and Kuminga, with the right opportunity, might just become that. Implications of the John Collins deal. This wasn't just any trade. It was unexpected and far-reaching. Few thought the Heat would land Norman Powell for virtually nothing, and even fewer expected it to trigger such ripple effects across the Western Conference. But now, the Jazz have cap flexibility, roster space, and a real need. And the Warriors? They're still nowhere close to resolving Kuminga's future. That's a dangerous mix. Golden State has a decision to make. If they truly believe in Kuminga's potential, they need to commit to giving him nightly meaningful minutes, something that doesn't seem to be in their current plans. If not, it might be smarter, and more respectful to both parties, to move on. And Utah could offer a win-win scenario. The bottom line. Kuminga won't suddenly turn the Jazz into a contender, and that's okay. Utah is playing the long game. They're aiming to build a strong young foundation while quietly setting themselves up for the 2026 NBA draft. Kuminga fits that timeline perfectly. He gives them upside now, and if things click, maybe even more later. For the Warriors, this is about honesty. Kuminga has outgrown the project label, and he needs a real role to take the next step. Golden State is chasing another championship while juggling contracts, aging stars, and internal shifts. Holding on to Kuminga without fully using him helps no one. This trade just made that future a lot more clear, and for the Jazz, a lot more tempting. Keep your eyes on this one. It might be the most important under-the-radar move of the offseason. The ripple effect. What comes next for Kuminga, Warriors, and Jazz? Utah's game plan. Developing stars, not contenders yet. Signing or trading for Kuminga would fit neatly into Utah's broader rebuild strategy. The Jazz appear committed to accumulating young, high-upside talent ahead of the 2026 draft lottery. They now have the cap space, roster flexibility, and draft capital to aggressively pursue Kuminga, Ace Bailey, and possibly other prospects. While they won't be title contenders immediately, they're clearly aiming to become a steady playoff team by 2026 to 27, with Kuminga potentially playing a central role. Importantly, the Jazz don't seem to be treating him as a gamble. Instead, they view him as a foundational piece, a dynamic scorer and athletic wing who, given the minutes and trust, could blossom into a major contributor and even a future cornerstone. Golden State's dilemma: talent versus timeline. Golden State is at a crossroads. Do they hold on to Kaminga and hope he develops into a rotation-caliber player, or do they trade him and get value now while his stock is elevated? His restricted free agent status gives the Warriors leverage, but that can only go so far. If Golden State keeps him without committing, the risk is letting a rising star walk away, potentially for nothing, or holding onto a talented player whose role may continue to be limited in a veteran-heavy rotation built around trade acquisitions like Ayton and perhaps future veteran wings. On the flip side, a well-timed trade to Utah could yield draft picks or young assets better aligned with the team's immediate and future plans, freeing up caps and minutes for prospects who fit faster. Fan and analyst reaction: a divided house. Warriors fans are split. Some argue Kaminga deserves a shot and has the upside to be the team's future third star. Others reckon that if Golden State is going to chase another title now, their roster is already set, and that making a trade could strengthen the team around Curry and Doncic. Jazz supporters are energized. A loud majority see Kaminga as exactly the kind of asset that can move the franchise forward, adding youth, scoring upside, and excitement. The broader narrative: Utah is shedding veterans and collecting talent before the 2026 draft shake-up. League analysts are calling this an intriguing chess match. They've noted how the Collins move not only boosts Utah's ceiling, but also increases pressure on Golden State to show commitment or capitalize on the window by selling high. Broader Western Conference implications. If Kaminga lands in Utah, the Jazz's package instantly becomes more watchable, adding intrigue to matchups in the Mountain and Pacific subconferences. Games against teams like the Lakers, Clippers, and Kings would begin to carry more weight, as scouts and fans check Milwaukee for signs of Utah's direction. On the flip side, if Golden State holds on to him but fails to integrate him, the perception may shift, that the team is clinging too hard to assets they don't fully value, while waiting for another title window that might not come soon enough. The coaching angle. Rookie head coach Mike Brown Jr. in Utah could be the ideal environment for Kaminga. With fresh staff and fewer egos in the locker room, the onus may be on giving developmental minutes to the game's young stars. Compare that to Golden State, where minutes and rotations are often predetermined around veterans and playoff-tested strategies. For Kuminga's growth, the opportunity in Utah might be the clearest chance he's had to prove he belongs. Final takeaway. The table is set. Utah is ready to pounce, offering minutes, trust, and a front office willing to build around youth. Golden State, meanwhile, must make a tough call. Do they commit to making Kaminga a cornerstone, or cash in while his value is high? This isn't just about one player, it's about identity. Will the Warriors continue to lean on veteran experience, or pivot fully toward nurturing young talent? And will Utah's gamble pay off as they chase their post-Jazz rebuild dream? Whatever happens, this quietly unfolding domino effect could define the offseason, and shape the trajectory of two very different franchises. Warriors quietly unleash potential new sharpshooter in Summer League. A blazing 70% from deep to kick things off, Golden State may have found something special. The Golden State Warriors might have just discovered their next elite shooter, and they didn't even have to draft him. Undrafted rookie guard L.J. Cryer made a loud impression in Sunday's Summer League matchup, draining 4 three-pointers in the first half alone against the San Antonio Spurs at Chase Center. Cryer's early fireworks lit up the court, but after a red-hot first half, he didn't attempt another shot until midway through the fourth quarter. By then, the Warriors were trailing 90-88 in a tight loss during their second California Classic game. Cryer is making a name for himself. Despite the team's loss, Cryer finished with a team-high 19 points, shooting 6 of 8 from the field and an impressive 5 of 7 from beyond the arc in under 23 minutes. Just a day earlier, he scored 8 points off the bench in a win against the Lakers, hitting 2 of 3 from deep in only 15 minutes of action. With Australian point guard Taron Armstrong sitting out, Cryer was elevated to the starting lineup, and made the most of it. Warriors fans quickly saw flashes of what made him such a reliable shooter during his college days at Baylor and Houston, where he became known for clutch shooting and big-game moments. Last season with Houston, Cryer averaged 15.7 points, 2.4 rebounds, and 2.0 assists in 32.7 minutes per game, while shooting a scorching 42.4% from 3 on over 7 attempts per game. Over his 5-year college career, he maintained an elite 41.3% from deep, numbers that speak to his consistency and shooting mechanics. His resume includes a standout performance in the NCAA championship game against Will Richards' Florida Tigers, where he dropped 19 points and hit 4 triples on the big stage. Overlooked in the draft, but not forgotten. Even with those credentials, Cryer went undrafted last month. While much of the post-draft buzz focused on Golden State's second-round picks, Will Richard and Aussie wing Alex Tui, Cryer's signing went largely under the radar. That may be changing quickly. There are some legitimate concerns about his size, 6 feet 1 inch, and how he'll hold up defensively at the next level. But on Sunday, his +14 plus-minus stood out, showing how much better the Warriors looked with him on the floor. His presence, pace, and poise made a real impact. Will he keep shooting 70% from 3? Probably not. But his college stats suggest this level of production isn't a fluke. Cryer will now look to carry this momentum into the rest of Summer League, hoping to earn an invite to training camp, and potentially push for a two-way contract. The Warriors' next great shooter? On a team that changed the game with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, the bar for three-point shooting is sky-high. But Cryer's early flashes show he might just be the latest in a long line of sharpshooters to wear the blue and gold. For a Warriors roster in transition, LJ Cryer might be more than just a feel-good Summer League story. He could be a hidden gem ready to take the next step. From Summer League spark to roster reality. Silence turns into buzz. What began as a quiet signing is quickly turning into off-season chatter. With his hot start, 50% from the field, 71% from 3 over 2 games, Cryer is forcing attention. Scouts are whispering about his shooting stroke, his confidence off the bounce, and how seamlessly he fits into Golden State's signature playbook. For a franchise built on elite spacing, that kind of fit is rare and invaluable. Impact on team dynamics. If Cryer continues to shine, Golden State staff could face a fascinating roster question. Do you invest in running him through camp and preseason? A two-way deal is the likely next step if his output holds. But surprise performances like this can shift organizational priorities, especially when the team is hunting for cost-effective depth behind its core stars. A wake-up call for overlooked talent. Cryer's rise reinforces a larger NBA truth. Great players don't always hear their name called at draft night. Undrafted prospects like him, who put up elite shooting numbers, deliver dynamic performances, and rise to opportunity, are increasingly able to carve genuine roles in modern three-point happy lineups. Cryer's story is validation for everyone beneath the draft radar. Summer League as a strategic showcase. For the Warriors, Summer League is more than summer entertainment. It's a low-pressure audition for emerging talents. Players like Cryer get a platform to shine, and the team can evaluate who might become a hidden gem on the main roster. If Cryer earns his way forward, Golden State could reinforce its bench with an inexpensive high-upside shooter, an ideal puzzle piece for a championship-level roster. What's next? Training camp and beyond. The key test for Cryer now is consistency. If he can replicate that shooting explosiveness and continue to show defensive effort, the Warriors staff will face real decisions. Do they add him to the 15-man roster? Or allocate him to their G League affiliate, offering development while maintaining roster flexibility? The path is there. A shot at Summer League success has already provided Cryer with spark, and Golden State with a glimpse of what might be its newest elite shooter. Kevin Looney pens an emotional goodbye to the Bay Area. Kevin Looney never planned to leave the Golden State Warriors. For 10 unforgettable years, the Bay Area was his home, the only NBA home he'd ever known. But this summer, life took a turn he wasn't expecting. In a heartfelt essay published in the Players' Tribune on Sunday, Looney opened up about his departure, his gratitude, and the bittersweet feelings that come with leaving a place, and a fan base, that shaped him both on and off the court. No matter where I go, Looney wrote, I'm Bay Area for life. Looney's message was more than just a farewell. It was a love letter to the fans, teammates, and coaches who believed in him, even when few others did. He spoke honestly about what made this summer different, and why, for the first time in a decade, staying wasn't really an option. Every year when free agency came around, I always said, if the money was even close, I'd stay, he wrote. But this time, that offer just never came. Not even close. It wasn't about chasing a bigger spotlight or running toward a championship contender. Looney simply received a life-changing offer from the New Orleans Pelicans. And with no competitive offer on the table from Golden State, the decision, though painful, became clear. No bitterness, just sadness. Despite the circumstances, Looney made it clear, there's no bad blood. No grudges. Just the quiet ache of knowing something special has come to an end. No hard feelings, he wrote. But yeah, there are some sad feelings. And that's understandable. Looney's journey with the Warriors wasn't just about basketball, it was about growing up. Drafted at 19, he entered a locker room full of future Hall of Famers. For his first 7 weeks, the team didn't lose a game, and Looney didn't say a word. He was the quiet rookie recovering from surgery, too shy to speak to anyone, until a loud locker room argument between Steve Kerr and Draymond Green changed everything. That's when I realized, oh, this team isn't perfect. But they care. They compete. And after that, I stopped walking on eggshells, Looney shared. That's when I finally felt like I could be myself. He credits Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala for taking him under their wing, and Steve Kerr in particular for consistently standing by his side through injuries, adversity, and every challenge thrown his way. Steve made me feel invincible. Every time he spoke highly of me in the media or in the locker room, it gave me confidence I didn't know I had. He's a legend. And his belief in me meant the world. The MVP chants, and the legacy left behind. When asked what his most unforgettable moment was as a Warrior, Looney didn't hesitate. It was during the 2022 Western Conference Finals, when the crowd broke into unexpected MVP chants. At first, I thought Steph was checking in, he laughed. I was confused. But then I realized, they were chanting for me. That moment. I'll never forget it. Looney was never the loudest voice or the flashiest player. But he was the glue, the steady, reliable, no-ego warrior who did the dirty work, rebounded through pain, and set the screens that freed up Steph and Klay to shine. He was the kind of player every great team needs, and every fan grows to love deeply. A goodbye, but not the end. Now, as he heads to New Orleans, Looney leaves behind more than a legacy. He leaves behind memories, relationships, and a deep respect from every corner of the Warriors organization. The Bay Area will miss him, the chants of LON echoing through Chase Center, the quiet leadership, the humble heart. And though Looney says not every ending has to be sad, this one still stings a little. Because sometimes, the hardest goodbyes come from the places that feel like home. A loss that goes beyond the box score. Kevin Looney may not have always filled up the stat sheet, but his impact on the Warriors, and the Bay Area, went far beyond numbers. He embodied the team's culture, selfless, resilient, and quietly elite at the things that don't make highlight reels. Screens that created space. Rebounds in traffic. Calm under pressure. And a presence in the locker room that grounded the team during its highs and lows. His departure isn't just the end of an era for Looney. It marks the closing of a chapter for the Warriors dynasty as a whole. Over the years, Golden State has said goodbye to foundational pieces like Andre Iguodala, Shaun Livingston, and now Looney. As the roster shifts and the franchise leans toward its next generation, the emotional weight of this goodbye is something even the most seasoned Warriors fans are feeling deeply. Warriors front office faces tough questions. Looney's farewell has also raised eyebrows around the league. Multiple analysts and fans have questioned why the Warriors didn't make a stronger effort to keep him, especially when his market value was reportedly manageable. According to league insiders, the Warriors front office is focused on reshaping the roster for the future, prioritizing cap flexibility and youth development. But to many, letting a culture cornerstone like Looney walk away, without even a competitive offer, felt like a misstep. You can't put a price tag on trust, one Western Conference executive told The Athletic. Looney was one of the most trusted players in that locker room. That kind of reliability doesn't show up in advanced metrics, but every coach in the league wants it. Pelicans land a culture changer. On the flip side, the New Orleans Pelicans may have quietly pulled off one of the best veteran additions of the offseason. With a roster full of talent but often lacking stability and structure, adding someone like Looney is a strategic win. He brings championship pedigree, a team-first mentality, and a defensive anchor to a squad with rising stars like Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and C.J. McCollum. Don't be surprised if Looney becomes a locker room leader in New Orleans almost immediately. Head coach Willie Green, who played with the Warriors during the early 2010s, reportedly pushed hard for Looney's addition, seeing in him exactly what his young Pelicans need, a vocal veteran who leads by example. A legacy that won't be forgotten. Back in the Bay, fans have been flooding social media with thank you messages, tribute videos, and memories of Looney's biggest moments. His 22-rebound performance in Game 6 against Memphis. His quiet poise in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The endless screens he set to free Steph Curry. And of course, those unforgettable MVP chants. Chase Center may look different next season, but Looney's imprint will remain, in the culture, in the locker room, and in the hearts of fans. He didn't leave with a press conference or a farewell tour. He left